Hi, my name is Valeria Gutierrez, and I will be talking about gender roles. At the end of this discussion, I will be answering some prepared questions I have here for you to understand why I feel so connected with this topic. Gender roles are specific behaviors or attitudes that are generally considered acceptable or appropriated for people based on their sexuality. These are just a lot of stereotypes which hinder you from your capacity of doing a lot of things. This affects not one but the two of the existing sexualities. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or if you're a boy, you can still be a victim of these stereotypes. Examples of this will be in women, the criticism a woman can have for trying to have a job in specific areas such as politics or trying to do manual things like carpentry because these jobs were supposed to be made for men. And an example for men, it can be the criticism a man can get for trying to do the house chores, for looking for the baby, making the dinner, washing the dishes. This isn't a problem that it's been happening just now. This is a problem that people have been fighting with since the very beginning of the civilization. And these kind of stereotypes were actually rules in the society of the past. They said that women couldn't have an appropriated education because that was supposed to made for men, for them to work. A lot of people try to fight against this, and at some point they did change the society minds back then. These people were Julieta Lanterini, who was the first woman who voted in South America, Alfonsina Storni, who was the first woman writer, one of the first women writers in the world. We have Paulina Luisi too, who was one of the first women who studied and graduated for being a surgeon. And these are just a couple of examples. This and many more girls and boys proved to those to the million of people who believed in those rules that women are strong enough to be or to do whatever they want to be or whatever they want to do. The 21st century is the century of the change. There's been a word and a specific word that it's been fighting against the sexiest person, the persons, and this word is equality. Being equals between the two genders is giving them the opportunity to have the same status, the same rights, and to have the same opportunities. Um, this word is also being mistaken with the word being a gentleman. An example of this will be the discussion that men have of the when you are in a bus, when a girl is in a bus and she have to go standing up, a woman have to give her his seat. But this is not a matter of having. This kind of thinking was given to them since they were born. So, and giving your seat to an older woman, an older man, or a pregnant woman, it's a sign of being equal actually because they don't have the same strongness as the normal people would have. Their vulnerability is bigger than a 21-year-old boy vulnerability. That's why they need those places in a bus. These are just a couple of examples of these kind of mistakes. And unfortunately, there are women that also mistake this movement. These women are known by the word feminist. These feminist girls think that men are worthless. So these two sides are completely the opposite of what equal means. These ways of thinking needs to be changed if we want to make an actual an actual change. And in conclusion, I would like to say that it doesn't matter if you're a girl, if you're a boy, if you're a boy and if you want to be a model, if you want to be a hairdresser, and if you're a girl and you want to be a president, if you want to be a doctor, you have to do things because people isn't going to do it for you, and you don't know your limits until you face them, until you are face to face to them. And now I would like to answer these questions. First, do I have a personal experience with this topic? Well, actually, yes. I've been fighting with this since 5 to 4 years ago. My family thinks that um, if I am the older daughter in my family, and they think that because of that and because of the fact of being a woman, I have to do all the house chores. And sometimes I'm just too tired to do that, and I need help not just from my mom, but also from my little sister or my big brother. And I don't want them to just do all the chores. I just want them to help me or to help also my mother to do these kind of things because sometimes I'm just too tired. I have to do a lot of things. I have a lot of activities in one day, and sometimes we just need help. I have a cousin who have a cousin. Her name is Maria. If I'm not wrong, I think her name is Maria. She's been fighting for this since she was a little girl. Her situation is worse than mine. Recently, she wanted to practice English, such as his brother, but her father said her that that wasn't supposed to be for women, and that all she gotta do was to try to find a, a husband who could look up for her and for her future children. And so her situation is worse than mine. I don't have news for her. As far as I know, she couldn't get the chance of studying English. And the last question is, do I support this? Of course, I don't. But I also think that there are specific chores that a woman have to do, but she can also have help with it. Like I said, washing the dishes, making the dinner. My way of thinking is that I've been grown up with examples of my mom and my grandmothers, my cousins, my uncles. Uh, they have taught me that a real lady have to have the capacity of doing those things. She can be able to cook, to look up for her child, to do the house chores, and she have to be able also for being a productive woman, to have an incoming um, to have a job, to being able to have a job. And it's the same for the men. They just have to know how to do things. They don't have to let specific things for the other gender. And that's it. Thank you.